Oh, I forgot to hit loop. Okay. We are now live. Caught me off guard. Welcome to Postgame Beers. We are the Lupton Drinking Club, brought to you tonight by Hell's Half Acre Stadium Goods. Baseball season quickly approaching, fellas, so get on over there to Hell's Half Acre Stadium Good. Let me back up. Hell's Half Acre SG.com/Lupton Drinking Club. Gear up for opening day because, Martin, we are how many days out?
20, was it 23?
24, right?
24.
Setting you up.
I forget, dude. I have all those things scheduled.
It is officially 24 days, baby, right around the corner.
Shout out to everybody watching live on YouTube. Looks like we got a full room tonight. I guess people are parked in front of their TV and they have us up on their phone or on their laptop. And yeah, let's rock and roll. So what are we, down 4 at the half right now at the time of this recording?
The half just started. It's 2-point game.
Okay.
Yeah, 2-point game.
Yeah, I like the way they finished the half because I need them to win this game. Well, we all need them to win this game because we want a happy Coach Dixon tomorrow on Postgame Beers. So yeah, for those of you who haven't heard, we are going to have the coach himself, Jamie Dixon, live on the show tomorrow morning. Odd, considering that they're on the road and it's in the middle of the season, but he's excited to come on, so we're definitely excited to have him. But tonight, we're going to get into the rest of our conference previews. Let me introduce the crew. I know y'all heard their voices, but we have Martin, we have Garrett. Ray should be joining us a little later, and it is past MK's bedtime, so I am hosting tonight, I being JD, the master of activities. So, fellas, anything you want to touch on before we start cranking these previews? What's going on in the world right now? What's going on in the Ukraine?
Man, everybody forgot about Ukraine.
Oh my God, we're gonna get spammed by the bots again.
Let's go ahead and just derail this pod right here.
Hey, did something happen for everybody to forget about Ukraine?
Yeah, it's called Israel and Palestine. All right, we're already off the rails.
Let's do some previews, baby. Let's go.
We are 2.5 minutes in, and we're off the rails. So,
Jacob, what teams do we have tonight?
Martin was sick last week, so he has some makeup work to do. Martin, why don't you go ahead and kick us off?
All right. So I got Baylor. They suck.
All right. Thank you for that preview, Martin. Let's go, Garrett. No, I'm kidding. Let's talk about them.
Yeah, so obviously they were the worst team in the Big 12 last year. I mean, the biggest difference from this year would be that we got, 4 new teams?
Correct.
I don't see Baylor finishing ahead of anybody that's not a new team this year. So last year they went 20-35. They finished 174th in RPI. Did you guys know that Baylor used to actually be pretty good in baseball?
Yeah, dude, for sure. They were in Omaha in the 2000s?
2005. Do you know why everybody forgets about that?
Because college baseball wasn't covered back then.
Because Texas won a national championship that year.
Very much true.
There you go.
So they're a little bit overshadowed. I think that year they had like the number 1 overall pick or like a Golden Spikes award winner. Baylor baseball was a big deal in 2005, and nobody cares because a team 90 minutes south of Waco won the national championship.
I mean, that would be the same if like Texas won the Natty if TCU was in Omaha, right? I mean, that's not just unique to Baylor itself, I don't think.
No, it's not unique to Baylor itself, but it's Baylor's best season in baseball ever. Like, no doubt.
Right.
And it's still little brother to Texas.
Is that their only Omaha appearance?
Since like the 70s.
Yeah, when did like the regional, super regional format start?
Super regional format started in the 90s.
Okay.
Super regional started. Before that, I mean, the College World Series started in like the 40s.
Okay. But as far as like just the modern format goes, they've been to Omaha one time. They did win. I'm sure you're going to touch on this, but they won the Big 12 a few years ago because I was there in attendance to see us drop a fly ball in the 9th inning or an extra innings, whatever that was.
Yeah, that team was pretty good.
Yeah, they had some draft picks on the team, right?
Yeah. What was the catcher's name? Shea Langoliers.
Yes, there you go.
He was like a top 10 pick.
Just a quick update. Good news for us as a podcast. Frogs are now leading early in the second half. I asked the chat to keep us up to date, and so far they're doing a good job. So thanks, chat.
Sweet. So I had a lot of help from Levi Caraway at by Levi Caraway.
By Levi Caraway?
Yeah, at BY Levi Caraway. He writes for Sikkim 365. Yeah, he helped me a ton with this.
Okay. Can't wait to hear it.
Oh, anybody who cares about Baylor baseball should go follow him.
Feel that was a little backhanded.
I mean, I had asked around and didn't get a lot of feedback.
Yeah, is baseball a forgotten sport down there? Do they care more about women's basketball than they do baseball?
I think so.
Because I don't know if you saw last night, but Baylor was playing at home against Kansas State, who's like 5th in the country or so.
Yeah.
And the Baylor fans on Twitter were really upset because there were only like 500 people in the state in their new stadium. But with that said, do they care more about that sport than they do baseball?
Yeah.
It was a pretty full house when we went down there 2 years ago, wasn't it? From what you remember? I mean, it was mostly TCU fans.
I wouldn't even say it was a full house.
It was a well-attended crowd.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember last year, Texas played a series there, and it was like 80% burnt orange.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me. What's their ballpark like in Waco? I've never
dry
been on there.
Yeah, it's dry.
Very dry. That is true, I suppose.
I mean, we'll start there, right?
Literally, like they don't sell alcohol.
They don't sell alcohol.
Yeah.
Same with the football stadium.
It's kind of like an older version of DBU's ballpark. A lot of red brick.
Dude, and Garrett, we went down there. It was me, Martin, and Ray, and like the parents and any of the fans that traveled down there. They were giving us such a hard time because it was a dry stadium, and we were like, well, I guess we'll drink this stuff, and holding a bottle of water, we like spit it out, like, ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, our whole bit wouldn't really work down there if we were Bears fans.
Well, you know, if we had planned, now we tailgated hard, first of all. But looking back on it, what we probably should have done was just sneak bottles in, like mini bottles.
It's the way to do it. Throw it in the Yeti tumbler.
So if we go down there this year, that's the play.
Yeah, they don't really check. Security's not crazy.
No.
All right, so they don't play Oklahoma State or Kansas State this year. They play in Shriners. What is that, the first week or the second week? The actual Shriners? Because, Globe Life is doing like 3 weekends of baseball.
Yeah.
So they actually have Shriners this year. They play Oregon, Tennessee, and Nebraska. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I should get a pretty good indication of if the team has any life, which I don't know. Do you think they will? Are they going to be better or worse than last year, first of all?
If the pitching – they have a lot of young pitching, and they have some guys coming back from injury. If the guys coming back from injury continue to not pitch well, then they could be worse than last year.
Man.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. But they do have like a philosophy, I think, that they're actually trying to do certain things. Like I think they're going in the right direction.
Like how?
As far as offense goes, they know the kind of players that he wants to recruit. What's the guy's name? I forget the new head coach's name.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if I thought I had seen where they fired their coach.
Mitch Thompson.
Mitch Thompson.
So this is his second year as Baylor's head coach. He was hired last year after Steve Rodriguez was fired. So he was a longtime coach at McLennan Community College.
Powerhouse.
He's been in Waco forever. He was actually an assistant at Baylor when they went to the College World Series in 2005. So he's got a history in Waco. So his philosophy on offense is, he wants guys who don't really strike out a ton. They battle in at bats. They walk. They run the bases. Gritty kind of guys. We always talk about the grinder.
Yes.
TCU's
like
offense.
when TCU's offense is not helping bad pitching.
That's what Mitch Thompson wants as his offense, and he's gotten some players to help them do that. Whereas I think last year was more of a bunch of guys who were getting at bats. I think this year they kind of have a philosophy, and they all know what they're playing for. Speaking of last year, one of the big departures was Colby Branch, transferred to Georgia, freshman All-American, all Big 12 all freshman team. Apparently some people in Waco think there was some tampering involved. He was a pretty big loss for them. So that leaves their best player on their roster. Anybody want to guess?
I have no clue.
Hunter Toplansky.
No, that would have been a great guess. Of course.
Undoubtedly.
For those who don't know, Hunter Toplansky was a former Frog. Played here for 1 year?
Yeah, his freshman year.
Down there.
We traded him for Trey.
Yeah. I'd say we won that trade.
Yeah, pretty sweet trade for Frog.
Undoubtedly the best player on the roster. As a sophomore for Baylor, he hit 308, 406 on base, and 494 slugging. He was only behind Colby Branch in pretty much every offensive category. If Hunter Toplansky continues to develop, he could easily finish the year as an all Big 12 performer and a solid draft pick. Any questions on Hunter Toplansky?
No questions on Hunter Toplansky, but we will welcome in our producer, Ray Cartwright, fresh off a TCU volleyball win against UCF tonight. Ray, how about that?
Dude, let's go. Oh, my God, dude. That was freaking incredible. Awesome.
Yeah.
Dude.
Got the win over the 0-7 Knights.
Doesn't matter.
I know.
Hey, 1-6. Against all odds, the Moxie. Oh, what gutsy, every adjective.
All right, so back to Baylor.
This team. Oh, my God.
Hey, was UCF favored?
That's a good question.
I think TCU was favored. 4.5.
Nice.
I've heard. But still, doesn't matter. Dude, they're down there top 3 players.
Yeah.
Gone.
No, it's
Wipe
been a
off the
crazy
roster.
story. Sure is a lot of women's basketball drama that doesn't have anything to do with basketball lately. Between storming the court and TCU's injuries and Kansas State's creepy reporter.
It started when Russia arrested.
Dude, that whole reporter saga was nutty.
Dude, shout out Throwback Frog for burying him in a 6-foot grave.
Golly.
Right. All right, so we're in the middle, Ray, of previewing Baylor, and
gross.
Martin had just
Baylor
mentioned
baseball sucks.
Their best player is Hunter Toplansky. So, Martin, go ahead and pick up where you left off.
So another returning player that's pretty interesting, Cole Posey. Have y'all heard of Cole Posey?
No.
Mm-mm.
So what I found interesting was that he started playing baseball at Boise State. Anybody know why that's interesting?
I
didn't
didn't
even know they had a
know
baseball
Boise
team.
State. Well, yeah, I didn't realize they had a baseball program.
So they don't. Boise
Playing
State.
club.
Boise State tried to bring back their baseball team in 2020. Anybody remember?
Oh my
what happened
God!
in
What
2020?
an awful year to bring back baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, they
You're
fucking
3 weeks in and it's gone. It's over.
yeah. I think they started the year against like Texas or something, and it was like a big deal. And then obviously COVID happened. So right after COVID, they canceled their season. He transferred to New Mexico, so he played at New Mexico a couple years, and then he transferred to Baylor last year. And he is listed as a second baseman utility guy. He plays every single position except for first base and catcher.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's an
Sounds like
interesting
an
guy.
opportunity to get them in one position per inning.
Yeah.
Just move them around the horn.
Um,
Let's do bids.
here's an interesting name, Mason Greer, son of Rusty Greer.
Oh, just had a birthday.
He is a transfer from Missouri State. He played for Mitch Thompson while at McLennan Community College a few years ago. He had a
Brought
down
them
year.
home.
Yeah, he had a down year in 2023, but he hit pretty well before that. He is likely to start at first base for Baylor. And then the next three guys, Enzo Apodaca. He's an outfielder from Gonzaga. Ty Johnson and Tyreek Kemp. Those are two JUCO guys. So those are two guys that I said that I was mentioning before. High contact guys, low strikeout guys, battle at the plate. These are highly athletic guys. These are the kind of guys that Baylor is trying to bring in and to solidify the lineup with.
So as far as this year goes, they don't have a chance, right?
I just really don't think they have the pitching. I don't think they have the pitching, but I think they could be annoying as far as offense. I don't think they're going to be an easy out. They're not going to be they're not going to let you win the game. Whereas last year, what was it? They started the year losing like 30-3 to Toledo or something.
Oh, dude, they had another loss of like 25 to where they gave up like 20 straight runs.
Yeah, but that was
to,
like
what was
I
it,
think
Western
Duke.
Michigan?
I
thought
don't
there was
think they'll
Michigan
be
school thrown in there too. Maybe Central.
I don't think they'll be that bad, especially since they're playing in Shriners.
Yeah, that opening weekend for them, they start with Nebraska, then they play Oregon, then Tennessee.
Boss.
Yeah, probably.
Well, let me ask you. Let's put it like this: are they better than Cincinnati?
Probably not, right?
I think since
I haven't
Baylor's
really seen Cincinnati.
Yeah, Baylor's been in the conference at least. Like, this is going to be culture shock for these new schools.
Yeah. Baylor, we have seen that they were good at some point. I mean, since COVID was canceled, that's really been like the rock bottom for Baylor baseball. And that's been what, like 2-3 years?
Yeah. Well, their schedule is not easy, man. Outside of the Big 12, we mentioned Shriners. They play Indiana, which they're probably not great, but no, Indiana's been pretty good, right?
They're one of the better teams.
Indiana's been up and down.
Yeah, they're solid. And then they have a midweek against ACU, and then they're home against Oral Roberts for 3.
Yeah.
And then before conference play starts,
job, Bob.
They play DBU at home. So we'll know where we stand with this Baylor team very early.
Oh, I looked at their schedule, and I think they only have like 9 games outside of the state of Texas.
That's it?
That's it.
Well, since we
I don't think TCU has many games out of the state of Texas either this year. Besides the Kansas school or Kansas in Cincinnati. But go on. Sorry to interrupt.
Martin, do you have any more high points to hit? We have 4 previews to get through, so.
No.
Okay. Well, thanks for that. So we're gonna peg them as a what do we
Bottom
say? A
feeder.
cellar dweller?
Bottom.
Or, yeah, bottom feeder.
Bottom feeding.
Yeah. All right. So
Yeah.
let's go to Garrett, who I believe has BYU.
Yeah, man.
West Virginia.
We're gonna take a trip to beautiful Provo. But these
Best
Cougars
views in all the Big 12.
Yeah, that's the thing. The stadium is incredible, probably the coolest ballpark in the conference. But these Cougars are going to be stinky, stinky, stinky.
Man, it's gonna be a bad conference, isn't it?
Dude, they're going to
Sounds
be
like a bottom better. Who's better, Sun Belt, the Fun Belt, or Big 12? I mean,
these guys are going to be real poopy. So last year was Trent Pratt's first year at BYU. They're playing in the West Coast Conference, and that club, for whatever reason, had expectations, and they thought they were going to finish third. But not that it matters because that conference only gets one bid anyways. But now they're here or there. They're projected to finish third, and your BYU Cougars went out there and placed 7th in the conference last year. They had a super exciting record of 24-28, which includes 13 and 14 in conference play. Really bad. They ranked nationally 254th out of 295 with a team ERA of 7.47. So,
dang,
not bueno for these guys. Now they have made the NCAA tournament in their school's history.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and this surprised me though. They've made the tournament 16 times, which I thought was kind of high. The last time they were there was 2017. Coincidentally, won their conference that year. But again, insofar as this season goes, there's not much to be excited about. For their schedule, we're not catching them, and either is UCF. They'll be playing everybody else though in the league.
Do they make Texas go to Provo, or do they go to Austin?
They have Texas. I just had that pulled up. They are at Texas. They're going to go down to Austin. Actually, was looking at that. So I thought, well, maybe one of the few ways this BYU team could catch some guys is making them go up there, play at altitude when it's still cold outside in February or something like that. No, it's not happening. They are at Texas Tech. They are at Texas. They do have Baylor coming to town, but that's going to be in mid-April at that point. So I think the benefit of the February cold will be passed by then. So any chance of getting to catch a Texas team off, kind of off foot in the cold or whatever, that's not happening.
Well, how warm does it even get up there?
I don't know, dude. I figured their February is pretty chilly, but I bet you by you get to mid-April, it's probably pretty nice.
Probably,
right?
Okay. What's colder, Provo or Schollmeyer Arena? Because it is freezing.
Are you still actually at the arena?
Yeah, I'm in the press box right now.
Because
I came right from the post-game press conference.
In the
not
chat,
chopping it up, not delaying anything. I've come right to you.
Roll Toad was complimenting your background picture, and I'm like, I think he might still be at the stadium.
Still at Schollmeyer Arena, where our TCU women's basketball team, against all odds,
all right,
came out. And
well, I hate to bring your mood down, Ray, but I have more depressing Cougar facts to share with you all.
I only like good Cougars. Cougars.
Yeah, this isn't the good kind of Cougars. These are the type of Cougars that are losing 50 runs
Midwestern
with
Cougars.
this year.
The ones that
50 home runs graduated. Biggest star counter for a lot of those was their All-American third baseman. He gone, Austin Dimming. He was
They
drafted.
had an All-American? Dude, hold on. They had an All-American?
This dude was really good. Austin Dimming. He actually led their conference in 9 different offensive categories. So
did he transfer or get drafted?
He got drafted.
Or?
He got drafted.
Interesting.
He had 19 home runs for them last year, though. He was really good. The other kid was really good also. Their center fielder, Cole Gamble, he's gone too. He accounted for 15 more of those home runs. Good news for them. They are returning a guy named Luke Anderson in the outfield. He's in their outfield. He's pretty talented. So he could be a difference maker. Same with all West Coast Conference honoree first baseman in Cooper Vest, who was pretty talented for them last year as well. So they've got some guys who can kind of stand out. They're bringing back a good pitcher and a guy named Boston Mabius, a left-handed pitcher. But for the most part, there's not much there. Kind of fun facts, though, for them. So Ben and Brett Hansen are both pitching for BYU this year.
Brett Hansen. He's the reason Cole Feaster is on TCU baseball.
Exactly.
Because last fall, Cohen was going to be cut, but then Brett Hansen got hurt, and then so they brought back Cohen, and then Brett transferred to BYU.
Yeah, so there's a fun fact, little TCU tie-in. Another little TCU tie-in for this team. Crew Robinson transferred in this year from San Diego State. He helped the Tritons win the conference last year. His brother Ryder is a Frog, so two Frog
That's
connections.
Martin's
there.
favorite too. Martin loves him. So Martin's got all the Ryder
Robinson's brother plays for BYU.
Yeah, he sure does. He just transferred in. They expect he'll contribute quite a lot this year.
Hey Garrett, what is a cougar tail?
So I actually got kind of upset because I wanted to give a positive fun fact about BYU, and I was going to say at least you could have a cougar tail at the ballpark this year. And I double checked this, and they don't serve cougar tails at baseball games.
Damn.
You only get them at football
games.
I know. Anyways,
we'll have to soak instead.
You have to soak instead and go get you a nice pop and then take your pop into the game.
We're playing the hits, aren't we?
But you're not going to get a cougar tail, brother. No cougar tails at baseball unless I've been misinformed, which, I mean, that does tend to happen.
I'm sure there's a place that sells cougar tails, right? Somewhere in Provo.
There's got to be somewhere you can just go grab a cold pop and a cougar tail.
Well, I haven't had dinner yet, man. That sounds pretty good right about now.
Ooh,
but dude, they've had 25 guys go play Major League Baseball, which I thought was a kind of a high number.
Anybody notable?
Let's see here. Hall of Famer Jack Morris.
Okay.
Mike. Chicago Cubs pitcher Michael Rucker. Jerry Nyman.
These sound like olds.
Olds. I mean, yeah, it's olds. It's all olds. But you know what? 25 guys that played in the show is still 25 guys that played in the show, brother.
Still the team. An all BYU team.
Did Mitt Romney play baseball at BYU?
What's up, Martin?
Did Mitt Romney play baseball at BYU?
Like George Bush at Yale.
Mitt Romney did not make the roster. So
he got cut. Damn.
He got cut. He wasn't able to play.
I wanted to ask you guys, and sorry to interrupt, Garrett, but
you're good.
If Ray was going to be on time, I wanted to talk about the craziness going on with the women's basketball team and ask, what is y'all's tryout history? Have y'all ever tried out for a team?
Oh, dude, I have an embarrassing story.
Well, let me ask you first, Ray. I want you to tell your story. But when you played, JV football in high school?
I did play 2-year JV Wonder. They called me White Shadow because I was always in the shadow.
Yeah, no.
Oh, they would have taken anyone because I transferred into Arlington Bowie at the end of my sophomore year and always wanted to play football. And this goes back to my tryout story of 7th grade. I got asked if I wanted to try out, and I tucked tail and said, I have to ask my mommy. I never did. So whenever I transferred to Arlington Bowie, I was like, man, I'm going to give football a try. I'm going to good, bad, whatever. So I went and talked to Coach Chris at the time. He was like, yeah, you can play, you can try out for JV football or whatever. We were awful. I think we went 0-9 that year.
Yeah.
But it led to me, one of the football coaches said you should do wrestling as your second sport. And then that's whenever I joined the wrestling team and never looked back. That was so much fun.
Yeah.
Wish I could have wrestled all 4 years.
Yeah, I feel like it takes a different breed to love wrestling.
And, you know, it helps that I was 5'9", $130 at the time.
Yeah,
Not really
that's the build.
a good football weight.
Martin or Garrett, did you guys ever try out for a team?
No, dude. No. I
think-
when I was little, I played the YMCA sports, and they just kind of let you on the team.
Sure.
And that's about it.
And for baseball in high school, I don't know if all schools do this or if it was common or what, but so baseball was a spring sport, but you could take baseball class in the fall.
Nice.
And I think it was like, if you were in that, it was like a 90% or more hit rate on you were going to make the team. And if you weren't in the fall semester, your chances were really low of making the team in the spring. So we had tryouts, but like for my freshman year, so I was in baseball all fall, and then we get to the spring, we do tryouts. You get 10 cuts of BP, for your tryout. I take one swing, I square one up, hit it up the middle, and the coach goes next. That was my tryout.
Dude, my school was so small, we couldn't try out. I graduated with like 100 kids. It was kind of like one of those deals where, oh, you want to play sports? Oh,
you're
okay.
one of those schools.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Anyway, I was just curious about that. Go ahead and wrap up BYU, and then we'll get over to West Virginia.
Yeah. Well, in conclusion, BYU, they do have both their biggest rivalries this year, which don't really affect us. I did think it's interesting, though. I guess they don't call it the Holy War. It's called the Desert First Duel or Dessert First Duel, which I thought was super lame.
Hold on.
First.
You're sure it's dessert.
Unless I typed it wrong, but it sounds very BYU to call it Dessert First.
Okay.
So I'm going to roll with that. And then their other one is the Crosstown Clash versus Utah Valley. So they're really going to be geared up for that Utah Valley game. But insofar as our conference goes, guys, these kids are essentially just cannon fodder for the better teams this year. There's nothing there. So all right, RIP.
Wish TCU was facing them.
Hey,
You really don't, Ray, because like the RPI has to
RPI.
That's true.
Yeah.
RPI. Yeah.
We have enough like bad teams in our conference.
They must be real bad.
Do they still not play on Sundays?
No, they don't.
That's a good question. I doubt
No,
it.
they don't.
All their series are.
Hold on, I've got their
Thursday
calendar
through
or their
Saturday.
schedule here.
Yeah, no, it's confirmed. It's
Well,
all
you don't have to
Thursday.
look at it.
Yeah, it's
I
all
can tell
Thursdays, dude. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Thursday,
just
Friday,
to-
Saturday.
Yeah.
Just to clean up former BYU players in the show, Damon Selman in the chat adds Wally Joyner, Rick Aguilera. Those are two names I'm very well familiar with. And then also Vance Law, Corey Snyder, and Dane Lorg.
Do y'all remember Jeremy Guthrie?
Yes. He played for the Royals, right?
I think Royals and Orioles.
Yeah, he played for the Royals. He damn sure did, Martin.
Yeah.
They actually just hired an assistant coach for this year who's coming over from the Texas Rangers training program, which is kind of fun.
Chris Young is with BYU.
Breaking news, Chris Young is going to BYU. You heard it here
Bruce
first.
Bochy is the coach of BYU. That's insane. No, I'm kidding.
Dude, they're
All right,
winning a natty.
Thanks for that, Garrett. Let's go to Ray for West Virginia.
Who? West Virginia. Okay, I did not look at them one bit, one iota. So
Sweet.
questions. No, I'm kidding. I looked at them a little bit.
Yeah, you totally had us going.
So, West Virginia baseball, Frog fans are very familiar with their head coach, Randy Mazey, right?
I don't know, dude. It's been a long time. Should we reset?
He's a former assistant on the Schloss staff
Yeah.
and took over West Virginia baseball 12 years ago. He's entering his
Yeah,
12th.
dude, I was going to say it's going to be at least 10
Dude.
years ago.
I think he retired.
No, he retires at the end of this year.
Oh, he retires at the end of
Oh,
this year?
man. It's his farewell tour.
This is his he gets a farewell tour at West Virginia. This
Is he going to get like a
he's-
signed gift at every road game?
You know, West Virginia does come to TCU this year, so I do wonder if they'll do something for him just because of the connection.
Did Kirk and Randy ever cross paths? I mean, I'm sure in the coaching brohood they have, but as far as TCU goes, I don't think they ever overlapped.
Yeah, they did.
I guess they
'cause
would have
Kirk
early
started
on.
in 2012. I think was
Yeah.
Kirk's first year.
I'm
right?
sure they'll do something. TCU's real good about that stuff.
They had one season together that one year, and then Kurt ran him off the staff.
Yeah.
But, you know, West Virginia most famously is known for around these parts as rock bottom for TCU baseball last year.
Dude, it seems like they're a problem for us every year.
They were a problem when they came here 2 years ago, and David Bishop lost his mind at the worst strike three call, I think.
Yeah, after they stole home to take the lead in the top of the ninth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was rough. They're a pain in the ass, man.
They are a pesky, pesky team. But this year's West Virginia team starts and ends with one player and one player only. Can you name that player?
Austin Davis Jr.
JJ something, whatever. The best player in
JJ
baseball.
Weatherholt,
Yeah.
projected at least, you know, some baseball mocks take him for whatever top overall pick. He could be a 1-1 next year.
Yeah,
for West
dude,
Virginia.
he's
That
an
dude
insane player.
is a stud.
That's
probably
that's kind of dependent on if he's good at shortstop, right?
they played him he's moving to shortstop this year. He played second base last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he did get dinged up a little bit last year.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he missed like the first game or the first two games, or I think he missed some time against TCU, and they still fucking swept us.
So JJ 1-1, I mean, could be player of the year. He probably should have won Golden Spikes last year.
It seems like I think Melendez won it a couple years ago, but it seems like it's always some dude from some random school that wins Golden Spikes. Like somewhat in some meddling conference where they put up monster numbers.
Was it Dylan Cruz? Did Dylan Cruz win it last year?
Yeah, but I'm just saying in general, that's just what it seems like. Someone from like St. John's or somebody will win it.
I want to look it up.
All right, go ahead, Ray.
I think it was so JJ is going to need protection in the lineup. You may remember the name Grant Hussey.
Yeah.
Just because his dad is very active online.
Yeah, okay.
I think I got in a sparring match with his dad on Twitter. Skylar King is returning. He didn't get a lot of playing time, but showed out in summer ball. Speed. Lots of speed. Led the Appy League in stolen bases last year. Another speed guy, Amani Guzman. And then rounding out a key returner, Tyler Cox, who also stood out this summer, hitting .339. This pitching staff lost a lot to either graduations or transfers, most notably Ben Hampton, who was a West Virginia Mountaineer last year. He is now a TCU Horned Frog. Love to see that. They've got some transfers in. You may know Ben Lumsden.
I
Does
do
that name
not.
sound familiar to y'all?
I do not know that name.
He led the UTA Fighting Baseball Mavericks in home runs last year.
Okay.
And then they have another transfer from the College of Charleston. This dude named Kyle West hit 397 last year, 22 home runs, 20 doubles, and 20 stolen bases. So along the lines of your thinking of West Virginia being a pesky team, I think they're going to be a pesky team on the bases. They've got a lot of speed.
Yeah, it feels like you better have strong catcher play, and your pitchers better be very aware on the mound when you're playing.
Yeah.
Now,
Isn't it kind of weird how in the Big 12 you either have teams like TCU or West Virginia who steal a lot, or you got teams like Oklahoma State who don't steal at all?
Yeah.
it's all or nothing in this league when it comes to swiping bags. Kind of reminds me, I liked what Dave Long said about TCU swiping. He was like, it's just not about the amount; it's the high hit percentage that they get too.
Yeah, no, it really makes a lot of sense because if you think about it, if you're good at it, you want to use it to your advantage, and if you're bad at it, you don't want it to cost you games, right? So if you're good at it, you're going to do it a lot, and if you suck at it, you're not going to do it at all. So it logically makes sense.
Like logically against Indiana State last year, we saw base running gaffes all weekend, most notably when Carson Bowen was able to backpick a dude on second base gets backpicked by the catcher. That's
pretty much ended the season for Indiana State right there.
Incredible. Pitching wise, some question marks. I think Aiden Major is probably going to get a bulk of moved to the starting staff. He's actually pretty decent. He's got mid-90s stuff. They have a freshman too that throws mid-90s that they were able to keep from getting. He got drafted, but made his way to campus.
Did they lose their closer from last year? He was really good.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know, to be honest.
Got him.
Look that up for me, Martin. They have this guy named Derek Clark that's going to be in their staff. And the note I wrote down about him, tiny boy. Dude's 5'7". He's a D2 transfer. And then let's talk about their schedule for this year. Kind of an interesting schedule. They open the year. How many times do you see a team have a 4-game series?
All the time.
How often does that happen in D1? All the time?
It'll happen on long road trips.
Hawaii does it every week.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Hawaii's an exception because oh my goodness, there's no one near them. They have to do it.
Well, like
so
if you're
West Virginia,
like I know who was it? Tech played Stanford 4 games because of for the travel, it makes sense just to get 4 games in.
So I'm guessing they have a 4-week.
If you're in a school BFE, they start the year at home though with a 4-game home series against Stetson, and Stetson's a good squad.
They're solid.
They start the year at home
with Stetson. I am 99% sure. If I look,
crazy.
Oh no, it's at Stetson. No, it's at Stetson. Sorry, they're down in Florida.
In February is kind of cold.
Yeah, they're at home the next. No, they're on the road, Charlotte. But I mean, that's almost home, anyways, right? Yeah. Charlotte's pretty close to Morgantown. What I thought was interesting about their schedule: how often do you see a TBA on their schedule? They've got Tuesday, April the 2nd. TBA.
I'm guessing a team dropped out of their schedule.
West Virginia does a lot of weird stuff in their schedule because, like you said, they're far from a lot of other places. So they go south. They play in a lot of those tournaments, like the Snowbird Classic or whatever.
Yeah, right.
So I think that's depends if another team wins or if they lose a game. I think it's depending on
I got you.
Outcomes.
No tournaments this year for West Virginia in the preseason, and they don't play a major league team. Like last year, they played Arizona's development team or whatever in a game, which is pretty wild in March.
So I know a lot of West Virginia fans were kind of annoyed they were left out of the top 25. Do you think they should have been ranked, or they just
no
that 25 area?
I think they're going to be a very annoying team to face.
Yeah, especially on the road.
If you divide the Big 12 up into they're like with Kansas State. I think of them as a Kansas State equivalent,
right?
In that same grouping.
Yeah.
Not quite good enough to be the top 4, although last year they did win a share of the Big 12 tournament or title, regular season title. Should have won it outright, but they
blew
messed
it.
their pants.
Yeah.
The last 2 weeks of the season.
What was it, like a 7-game lead with like 9 games to go?
It was something crazy like that. I know all they had to do was win a game against Texas. Just win one game.
Could not get
and
it done.
They're the 1 seed heading into the Big 12 tournament.
Yeah, and they make it regional?
They did. They had that weird regional situation. I think they got sent to Lexington.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they were.
And they had to stay.
Yeah.
They had to stay in the dorms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a weird deal, man.
They got the NCAA to change their rules about housing teams for regionals. They have to be in hotels now.
For the sake of time, any more quick notes on West Virginia?
The guy I was talking about was what's his name? Carlson Reed. He's really good. He was drafted.
All right.
They got Tech and TCU on the road, and Oklahoma State and Kansas State at home.
Awesome.
As their notable Big 12 games.
Appreciate that, Ray. So let's finish out our conference preview series with the Texas Longhorns. And I will be taking this preview by the horns for you boys. Yeah. Texas Longhorns. Let's start with what they did last year. 42-22, 15-9 in conference, got a share of the Big 12 title. 28-8 at home, 13-9 on the road. And I found this surprising. They were 1-5 in neutral sites. And that's mainly because they got skunked at Globe Life by Arky, Mizzou, and Vandy, where TC went 2-1 that week.
Yeah, and it was like an embarrassing skunking. Like, they weren't competitive in those games, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so they ended up with a share of the Big 12 title, like I said, but they went 2-Q in the conference tourney. So you thought, well, how's this team going to look going to the postseason? They swept the Coral Gables Regional down in Miami. They probably should have went to Omaha, but they got Stanford lighted. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The weird sky there in Palo Alto.
Yeah, they lost a fly ball in the non-lights, lost it in the moon. So Stanford went on to Omaha, ending Texas's season. So with the Texas Longhorns, it's pretty common knowledge that they're, the blue bloodiest of blue blood schools as far as baseball goes.
I think they've been to Omaha every 50% of the time they've been to Omaha.
So I got a note on that. Only once since 1965 has Texas gone more than 3 years without a trip to Omaha.
Yeah,
that's insane.
It's mind-blowing.
I didn't realize it was that good.
What a spoiled ass fan base.
And if you want to boil it down even further, so they went 3 years without an Omaha appearance. Who was the coach? Their coach retired before Augie Garrido took over. And then in his 3rd year, they went to Omaha. So let's see, it was Cliff Gustafson.
Oh, yeah.
He went 3 years without a trip to Omaha, retired, and then Augie was able to build it back up and start another era of Texas dominance. I did find it interesting, and I wanted to break it down further, but just as a quick note, Texas was pretty much dominating the Big 12 until TCU came about. And I really wonder if TCU has affected Texas's recruiting. It's just something to think about, something to look into. So last year, let me see. Hold on. Okay, just to finish up their recent history. Yeah, they've been to Omaha 38 times, and they have 6 natties. So very prestigious program. I noticed that they were second in total wins, and Martin knows this answer, but would you guys like to guess who has the most wins in college baseball history? I'm not going to give you much time to think because you're not going to get it.
Is it the Maine Black Bears?
It is the Fordham Rams.
I was in that part of that neck of the woods.
Yeah, I think I didn't write it down, but they have something like 400 more wins than Texas.
How many more natties does Texas have?
Six more natties, I believe. Yeah, I didn't really dig into Fordham, but Fordham was around 40 years more than Texas. They do have the winningest program in terms of win percentage at 724, which that's another mind-blowing stat. They've won 72% of their games all time. Even
is that good?
Teams are around 630.
Is that good?
Yeah, it's unreal, man. Let's see. They did win the series in Fort Worth last year. Since TCU has joined the Big 12, they are 19-16 against Texas, but only 3-7 in the last 10.
I will say that Texas series was a part of that TCU's turning the other page. It's kind of when the switch flipped, especially that Monday game.
Yeah.
Because remember, it was a weird – they got I think that Friday night got rained out, so everything got pushed back a day.
Yeah.
And then that Monday game, they exploded for 17 runs or something like that.
Yeah, they really took advantage of Texas's bullpen. More on that in a minute. So let's talk about their team this year. On offense, they lost Dylan Campbell, who had an OPS of 1.039 last year. So
Dylan Campbell, wasn't he the one that robbed I feel like he was there forever, right?
I think he started 3 years. I could be mistaken.
I just remember, was it? Think back 2 years ago in Fort Worth, or maybe even 3 years ago. I thought he had an insane catch in center field that robbed a Frogs comeback.
Yeah, I think I
remember your graduation weekend.
Yeah, that could be right.
Friday night game.
They lost Eric Kennedy. He had an OPS of 966. Solid player, but I think of Eric Kennedy as one of those glue guys. One of the guys that will always throw the horns up anytime he hits a home run. A true blood Texas Longhorn kind of guy.
Logan has corrected the errors of my ways. That was Antico. Another thorn in TCU's side.
Yep, that good callback. It looks like TCU basketball is hopefully going to take this one home. They're up 5 with 90 seconds to play. Thank you, Jackson, for the update. All right, so another key loss is Garrett Guillemette, who was the catcher. He had a 942 ops, good player, but talking to Kendall about this year's Texas team, they are hurting at catcher, and Garrett Guillemette was their catcher last year. So replacing him is going to be a problem. As far as their returners go, they return guys like Jared Thomas, who's a solid player in center field. Jalen Flores, he gave them nothing at the plate as a freshman last year, but he could be one of those guys that he sees a major jump in production.
Do you know that on Jalen Flores, he was more highly recruited, highly rated than Anthony Silva?
Yeah, no,
out of high school, and they both were from San Antonio.
Yeah, so the talent's there with Jalen, so he could be a problem. Jack O'Dowd is their second baseman. He came on strong at the end of last year, good player. Of course, we know Porter Brown. He's still in college somehow.
Downtown.
Dude, I swear I was in like high school when Porter Brown was playing at TCU. Like, it's crazy. And then perhaps the best, this guy might win. He might be like second team all conference is Peyton Powell at third base. Probably the best defender in the Big 12. He had a 979 ops last year. Other new guys, first year at the 40 acres, Will Gasparino. He was the number 44 overall prospect in the draft last year. He made it to campus. Could be a major problem. He's an outfielder.
They have a whole weekend dedicated to him in Tampa. That should be coming up, right?
Yeah.
Were they all dressed up like pirates?
Yeah, Gasparilla is what you're talking about. Do you guys remember Duke baseball last year and they had that big MFer playing first base?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. He transferred. He's now the Texas first baseman.
So he's going to be like Ivan Melendez.
Dude, he could be, man. He was kind of a monster in that Charlottesville regional. Let's see. And then they have a freshman, Tommy Farmer, who had a really strong fall. So they expect him to contribute in the outfield. Pitching wise, they lose Lucas Gordon. Thank God. That guy was a monster. He was their ace at least last year, probably the year before that, if I'm remembering right. They returned Tanner Witt and LeBaron Johnson. So this is kind of LBJ. So right now, Texas is ranked number 16, and they're probably the one true contender for the Big 12 title outside of TCU. And it kind of hinges on Tanner Witt. He's 22 months removed from Tommy John. He still hasn't shown that he's fully all the way back, but if he is all the way back, super talented pitcher. So the pitching kind of hinges with him, but LeBaron Johnson is going to win them a lot of games. And then they bring in a kid named Cole Selvig, who is probably going to be their Sunday starter.
LeBaron is a strikeout machine. That dude was constantly racking up double-digit strike. I mean, he mowed through Coral Gables.
Yeah, LeBaron will be their Friday night starter, and he's a monster.
He's the best pitcher in the Big 12.
If you want to
think it's particularly close.
Yeah, I don't either. If you want to beat Texas, you're going to beat them in their bullpen. They have unproven talent. They have a lot of fresh faces. So if you can get to their bullpen, that could potentially be a weakness. If everything hits right for Texas, they're a national title contender.
What do you think about, D1 ranking them 16th?
Well, so Kendall's really worried about their catching, Tanner Witt, and their bullpen. So he's
sounds kind of light.
Optimistic.
Yeah.
But like I said, if everything hits right for them, they can win the Natty.
Just feel like
I wonder how many different teams you could say that.
I mean, none, not very many that are as talented as Texas. There are a few. I mean, TCU is one of them. As far as their schedule goes, it's a pretty weak February, but it really cranks up in March. They go down to Houston to play in the Astros Foundation College Classic against LSU, Texas State, and Vandy. Then they have a midweek against Texas A&M before starting Big 12 play in Lubbock.
Yeah, they have a 10-day stretch from the beginning of March. It's like March 1st through the 10th.
Yeah, it cranks up.
That is a bear of a schedule.
Yeah, so they also play Washington, who's not supposed to be a strong team in the Pac-12. They're home against Baylor, at K-State, home against BYU, at Houston, home against us, TCU, at OU, home against OSU, at UCF, home against Kansas.
They're in that Houston tournament. They do play LSU, I think, that Saturday night, which I wonder if they could sell out Minute Maid.
Friday
with that match.
Yeah, it's Friday.
It's Friday.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll sell out Minute Maid.
Well, and I bet that Texas State game will be pretty well attended on Saturday.
Yeah, because you have Texas State alums that are Texas fans.
couple fun facts. I was surprised. Can you guys name every notable Texas Major League player?
Roger Clemens.
Yeah,
Done.
it starts there.
Cody Clemens.
It's over. Taylor Teagarden.
Houston Street.
Yeah.
But you would think a school with this much college history would produce a lot more Major League talent.
It's been super weird that they haven't.
Yeah, it's super weird.
Yeah.
What's that say about their development program?
I mean, dude, they win college baseball games.
Make a free throw. Come on.
I see Ray's focused. Now, what's the update, Ray?
Frogs up 3. They just got to make one free throw. Missed the first free throw. 16 seconds left. Just make a free throw.
So Oklahoma State has the ball with 16 seconds, or they're about to shoot their second one?
Okay. Manuel Miller makes a free throw. Frogs up 4.
Okay.
16 seconds and a timeout. Oklahoma State ball.
Awesome. So hopefully we'll get Jamie Dixon in a good mood tomorrow morning. I just have one last note on Texas. You know, they played the longest game in college baseball history. Would y'all want to guess how many innings this game went?
37 innings.
No, 20. It went 25 innings.
Dang,
Really?
TCU damn near got that against Sam Houston State.
Yeah, it was close. So Boston College tied the game in the 6th, and then it went scoreless from the 7th to the 25th before Texas put up a run in the top of the 25th.
Is that the one where they had to stop playing because there was like no light?
I don't see that note. This was only in 2009. So, but Texas had 20 hits in that game to Boston College's 8. 8 hits in 25 innings.
Jeez,
That's
dude.
rough.
That's brutal
That'll
baseball.
drop the team batting average.
So, yeah, as I said, TCU goes down to Austin. It's going to be just a gnarly series. And if you're able to somehow win that series, it'd be hard to lose the conference at that point, in my opinion. So that's your Texas Longhorns. I'll take.
I just think TCU just takes one. Just take one. Get one in Austin. Don't get swept.
No. Not when you're a top
this
5
game
team.
is over. Frogs win.
If you're a top 5 team in the
Frogs
country,
win.
you can't.
Frogs win.
That sounds so
469.
gross, Ray. You can't
What do you
just
mean,
be
Frogs
like,
win?
"Oh, we just need one win." When you're a top 5 team in the country.
Yeah, you're kind of
you sound like
expected
a
to win every
cuck.
series.
You sound like a cuck, Ray.
Hey, why don't you shut the fuck up?
So the good
Come
news
here and
is,
fight me.
now that we've covered every team in the Big 12, we can turn our attention to TCU, and we will start that next week. But in the meantime, we have Jamie Dixon tomorrow morning, 9:30, if you want to join live on YouTube. If not, of course, it'll be posted on YouTube, as well as, all of our podcast sites. But yeah, guys, good job on all the previews. They're done. We can now turn our attention to the TCU.
I hate you, Martin. Let the record show I hate Martin.
All right, last thoughts. We are at an hour 3, so good job getting these in a timely manner.
My last thought is I've enjoyed all the Zen memes today. That's
Yeah.
been the best part of my day.
You need to take an official stance in support of Big Zen. These previews were fun though, y'all. I'm glad we did it.
Yeah,
hopefully everyone enjoyed
a lot of good
it.
information.
I think it was a good. I don't know. I think it was good to do.
Sorry, I half-assed my way through West Virginia, but
no, it was good.
Lady Frogs.
Yeah,
they dominate the news cycle.
So all my previews, I've got them. I'm putting them on the Facebook group, and then I got some stuff on Florida Gulf Coast and UCLA.
Sounds good, man. I'm looking forward to diving into TCU starting next week.
Me too.
Dude, I'm looking forward to hearing about this Florida Gulf Coast team because they are a good team. That's a good squad.
Yeah, as is pretty much every So on D1, the Pac-12 preview came out, and all their picks to go to regionals. It's basically TCU's non-conference schedule.
Everyone but TC plays everyone but Stanford and Oregon State.
Yeah, basically. All right, guys.
Hey, is Oregon State going to the West Coast Conference? Back to BYU.
Find out next week on Postgame Beers. See you, fellas.
Go
All right,
Frogs.
guys.